Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Last week I opened 7 different arts and crafts subscription boxes from 6 different UK based companies. This week I'm going back into the boxes and having a play, trying out all the activities and then doing a little final kind of summing up review of each of the boxes. I'm trying to do one every day, but some of the activities take longer than others, so it's proven to be quite a tall order. I've already done the Maker's Box, which is all needle felting. I've done the Bead Box and Kit Box from Deborah Bees, which is jewellery making, and I've done Squaller Box, which is art supplies. I've started on the Craftiosity kit, which is air drying clay this time, and that's part way through. It's now drying. It's behind me there. So I'm now going to make a start on the next box because I was going to try and do them in the same order I opened them in. This one is Stitch Kit. It's a humongous box and it was stuffed full. So what I'm going to do now is take all the gubbins out and then get the box out of the way so that we can see what we're doing. I'm very excited about this project. I've got to face a demon, which is putting in zips. But one of the lovely things about having subscription boxes and things is the challenge of trying new things. So yeah, it'll be really good to do that. And it's beautiful. It's going to be. In fact, I think there's enough stuff in here to make 2 of these bags with. Let me show you. So these boxes are custom made for each customer, which is really unusual. I don't know of any other companies that are doing that. Beautifully packed and everything, and showed all the contents and had a look at the website and stuff in the last video, so I won't do that fully again now. But this is the £25 sewing and patchwork box. So basically you fill out a little questionnaire saying what your likes are, which of the 6 stitching disciplines that they offer you would like to do. You can swap about any time as well. This time we decided I would have the sewing and patchwork one, and I let it was Rachel, wasn't it? Yeah, Rachel know what my preferences are as regards colours and things, and it's as if a friend picked it for me. So let's have a look at what I've got. Here's the bag we're going to make, although not in these patterns. So it's a cosmetic bag. It's got a waterproof lining. It's got pockets. There's a couple of demons I've got face here. I've never done anything quite like this. It's got a zip across the top. So we'll be covering simple patchwork and quilting. We'll be boxing corners, binding and doing zipper installation. So that's the pattern part, and they work with other small businesses and things, and let me just see what she says about it. Small business we're so pleased to be able to work with called Living in Loveliness. And before I forget to mention at the end, I'll mention it now, and I'll try and remember to mention it at the end. I'll put it in the description box. If you decide to buy from Stitch Kit, oops, you can see there the discount code Annie20, which I'm assuming gives you 20% off, which is, I think that's what they did for me last year, which I thought was very generous because it's already pretty good value, this actually. So that is the pattern by Living in Loveliness. I'm going to need that. These are the beautiful fabrics that Rachel picked for me. Look. Just look at them. Now somebody said they recognised these as, I think it was Tilda fabrics, and I didn't even pick that up. Very remiss of me. She said she spotted a selvage, but before that she already guessed they were Tilda fabrics. Here we go. Tilda Quilt Collection. So, you know, it's beautiful quality fabric. Tilda fabrics aren't cheap, and I working it out last week, it seems like I've got enough to make this bag twice over. They're very generous sized pieces. This is what we'll be using for the lining, again more than enough, so enough to do 2, I think. It's a nice kind of cotton backed waterproof lining, so although it's waterproof it still handles quite nicely. There's the zip we're going to need. The coordinating thread, and it's Gutermann thread. It's lovely quality. We've got a erasable marker. There we go. Got a chalky marker. And then there's some extras as well. So stitch ripper, nice little extra. It's always a handy thing to have, these little stitch rippers. We got Wonder Clips, Clover brand, and again, not the cheapest, are they? And this lovely little, what a good idea this is. So it's a little tulip pincushion, and it's got this sucker thing on, so it'll attach to your sewing machine, which I thought's a fab idea, because I always end up dropping the pins when I'm at the sewing machine on the table next to me, and half the time they go skittering on the floor. So this will be really handy. And this little sewing kit, little travel sewing kit. So actually, I suppose in theory you don't have to do it on the machine. You could stitch it by hand. This is the wadding, which will be used for padding out. There's a very thick one for padding out the bag. Let's have a look at the pattern. I mean, to be fair, just getting the fabrics in the post would be fun, but but it's nice to have a project, and it's nice to have something that's just going to just sort of stretch me a little bit, you know. Okay, please read before starting this project. Lots of useful tips. I'm going to read through this off camera, I think. I've had a good read through this. I had to read it twice to make sense of it. It's not because it's difficult to understand. It's just user error. Once I took my time and read it properly, all the words, it made perfect sense. So there's no pattern pieces that you've got to cut out. It's literally all straight pieces. So you've just got to do measurements. They're all in inches. I'm going to cut all of these pieces and lay them out as they say there. I've got to make sure that I cut them in the right orientation. You know, I want it to look the right way up, and it looks like it. So I'm going to call this fabric A, because I've got 3 pattern fabrics. If you look on the back, three fabrics are for the exterior, so that will be these pattern ones, and then the interior, which is that kind of waterproof one. So these print ones are the ones we cut up into strips to patchwork together. So this first step is all about just doing that patchwork, and then we're going to quilt. I've got the machine out, but I haven't put the green thread in it yet. 2.5 by 9.5 inches. So this measures more than 10 inches across, so I can get all 4 strips out of this width easily. There's more than enough there. And 9.5. Ah, look at that! Yeah, I can literally get 2 bags out of this. Blimmin' brilliant! So I'm going to cut all of these pieces now, and then I'll be ready to start stitching. I should take their advice and press everything as well. I've got my little craft room iron up here, so I'll get that out in a minute. Get everything all pressed and ready, and then I'll be back. I've finished cutting out the pieces now. This is for the one half of the bag, and these pieces are for the other half. I've still got enough left. If I cut them judiciously, I've still got enough left to make a second bag, which is brilliant. So I've got these laid out. As I say, I haven't pressed them yet, but I'm going to take this lot downstairs now to where I can have my iron set up. So I just thought I'll come back and show you what I'm up to. I'm going to be able to show every step of this because it'll just make the video too long, really. But the next step is going to be to make this little pocket for the front. And what it tells you to do is to fold the pocket binding in half. It's nicely explained. Now I'm bothering to actually read all of the words and read it properly. It's very, very clear. So you fold it in half like that, line it up with the top of the pocket, the raw edge at the top of the pocket, stitch along here. It's apparently a 1/4 inch seam allowance everywhere unless otherwise stated. Seam it along there, and then you turn it. I'll use the gauge on my machine to do me a 1/4 inch seam. Definitely could do this by hand. So I'll stitch along there, then I will turn the binding to the back to enclose that raw edge like that, and then top stitch it. And she suggests using a zigzag to top stitch. I might do that, or I might just do a little hand slip stitch at the back. I'll see how I feel. And then when you've got that done, you patch these together. So I will just do that by, I'll line up these 2 raw edges, do my seam, turn it out. These ones I will put together like, it'll be much better once it's all properly stitched and pressed. I will put them together like that and stitch along so that it comes out like that. and so on and so forth. And then when I've done all of that, I'll give them a good press, and then I need to cut the wadding, because that's the point where you quilt them. You do all of this for the front and again for the back of the bag. Then you apply the whole thing to the wadding, and then you quilt, which I haven't tried doing before, machine quilting either, so there's another new skill. So I'm quite looking forward to trying that. And then we put the zip in, and then we come to boxing the corners. So yeah, when I get to the next stage, I'll come back and show you how I'm getting on, but I need to go and do some pressing and machining now. And I'm going to have to make myself stop to go and cook dinner. Right, so I pressed all my fabrics and I patchworked them together. It's my little pocket, and what those instructions suggest is that you use a bit of basting spray to baste the pieces onto the wadding before you quilt it. Got hairs everywhere, but I didn't have basting spray, so I just pinned it on, and I've just done like tacking stitches really through. Quilt as desired, I used a zigzag stitch along the seams, so I think I'm going to do the same thing. Could just do a straight stitch, but I'd have to make sure I got absolutely accurately in that stitch in the ditch in that line, and I'm not sure how accurate I'm going to be, so I think the zigzag stitch might be a bit more forgiving. And then I think it said somewhere in the general tips that you might need to trim the binding once you not binding, the wadding. When using wadding, it may stretch. Trim if required, yeah, so I will need to trim that, and then I'll be putting the zip in. So I'm going to go off to my machine now and just do a zigzag stitch along all of these vertical lines. I've zigzagged down all those lines to quilt it. I'm really happy with how that looks. Not done too bad on the straight lines, went a bit off there. I'm just still getting used to using my machine, and I didn't even realise that on the zigzag, on the foot that you use for the zigzag stitching and that I use all the time, there is actually a little line I can follow, so I can centre that up on the seam when I'm doing a zigzag. I didn't even realise that. I've also just worked out how to change the foot on my machine for the first time, and I've got a foot there that came with it that I think is a zipper foot, maybe. So I'm hoping that's going to be really helpful in that. So this has been brilliant. I'm learning so much new stuff here. So this is the bit I've been absolutely dreading, which is putting the zipper in. Here's my zipper. Let's have a look at the instructions. Always check the zipper opens and closes before inserting in the project. That's a good idea. Open the zip halfway. Align the zip along the top or edge. Zipper facing the panel. So, and then place the interior. So that's this one of these waterproof pieces along on top, pattern facing. I'm assuming that means this to that. Yeah, the instructions are quite brief, you know, with no experience at all. I think this would be a struggle. Having said that, I've got no experience of doing this part and I've managed. I also had a look at the Living in Loveliness website, and I see there are lots of tutorials on there. Okay, so I'm aligning that edge, and now I'm going to line it all up with this. So I'll do this, I'll put the little clips on to hold it all in place, and then I will just do a straight stitch on the machine. This has been a bit of a battle. It's me, not them. I would say I have faced my zip demon, but definitely not conquered him. My top stitch, my zip went in crooked. I cannot get the hang of using the zipper foot, although I'm pleased that I've got the hang of changing the feet on my machine. I would now realise that it's really super easy, so I just need to practice more. So it's gone in really crooked. I can't be bothered unpicking it again. It's going to have to stay like that. The top stitching was abysmal, so I ended up doing zigzag over the top of it. I'm hoping it will end up functional, and hopefully the prettiness of the fabric will disguise the dreadfulness of the workmanship. I need to invite myself down to Snoppy's place and get some lessons on how to do these. She makes pouches and bags with zips and pockets and feet on them and stuff, and she does such a beautiful job. I'm embarrassed at this, but I am enjoying myself, and you know, it's all part of the whole learning process. So next big thing is to put this whole thing together and box the corners. So apparently what I do is marry up the fronts, the outsides and the insides. And so it says open the zipper halfway, done that. Oh yeah, at one point I took the zipper right off the end, the little pull right off one end, and couldn't get it back together again. And I didn't want to unpick it all and put a new one in, so I had to look at a YouTube tutorial telling me how to get it back on. And the little tip is to cut one side back to just this part, feed that in, pull it down so it's level, and then it's easier to like marry them up again. So that was a really handy little tip. But anyway, so I think I'm meant to put these together like that and those together like that, and the zipper has to be pressed towards the lining part. Can't really see very well though, it looks like it's just, there's no kind of tab ends or anything like that, it's just taking it up in the seam. So I was almost at a point of thinking I'm going to have to leave this unfinished and finish the video without it being finished, because I'm running out of time now before I go away, and I really want to get all these out this week, but I did want to see it finished as well. I'll just put a couple of clips to hold all this in place. The idea is that I'm going to cut what's the measurement, 1.5 inch corners, squares out of the corners here to help make my box corners, and I need to remember to leave a 3-inch turning gap on the bottom here as well, so I need to mark that out. So I'm going to go through and clip all this together, cut out these corners, stitch the bits in between, leaving that turning gap, leaving the corners, and then I'll be back. I think I've done that. It's a bit hard work going over the zip bits there. A bit trepidatious about whether I've done this right or not. I've left my little opening there. It's meant to be 3 inches. Is that 3 inches? All but. So now I've got to just box the corners, and I think I know this bit. I've done it with little hand stitched bags before. So now where I've cut those corners out, I bring them up together like this, stitch flat across there on all 4 corners, and that'll give me my little boxed corners. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back to do the turning right way out with you, and we can all keep our fingers crossed together. Okay, I'm ready. I have to say, all the bulk of all of this wooding does make it a little bit more difficult to handle everything through the machine, because I'm not very experienced with the machine. But I think, I mean, it gives it lots of substance, so yeah. Okay, right. I think I'm ready to try turning this through. I can't imagine it's going to be too easy of a task getting all of this lot through this little opening, but let's go for it. Crikey, I think this is going to be a bit of a battle. I'll be back when I'm a bit nearer. I'll be back for the final pull. Phew. This has been extremely hard work. It's taken me back to giving birth. But I'm almost there. So obviously this is inside out. I've still got to slip stitch that little opening closed, but I can't wait to see what the outside looks like. So let's do that first. Fingers crossed. I'll be so chuffed if this looks even halfway decent. It's a good old sturdy bag. I think really it could have been thinner wadding, and that might have made the whole thing a little bit easier. Let's just push these corners out while I can still get to them before I sew the hole closed. Actually, oh, I've done something stupid there. I might have to overstitch that by hand. I think that's going to be the best way. Look, I've missed a bit of that seam there. I'll blame the bulk of the wadding. I did find that quite hard to deal with, but that's okay. I can sort that out with a bit of hand stitching. Don't think this inside looks quite right. I think I've done something wrong there. That doesn't look right to me. But let's hope it will function as a bag. Well, feel like that's a bit crooked. It's really, really pretty because the fabrics were really pretty. There's a lot to be desired in the workmanship. I was going to offer this as a giveaway during our December live, but I just think, is it really good enough to offer it as a giveaway? We'll see what people think. I need to go back in. I've got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. The zipper's stuck, catching the lining fabric, which it shouldn't be because I did top stitch it and everything. Yeah, it's a bit close, you see, I got a bit too close there. I kind of feel like I would be a bit wary of giving this to anybody else. But it is a really pretty bag. I did learn a lot about using my machine. I also learnt that I need to practice certain things a lot more. But yeah, it couldn't help but be pretty at the end because of the gorgeous fabrics that Rachel chose for me. But make a nice little craft bag as well, as a rather than a toiletry bag for me, I think. So yeah, I just need to go back in and slip stitch this opening close, that last bit that I turned everything through. Look how small that opening is. I almost had to do an episiotomy. So I just need to slip stitch that close, and then we're all done. I feel like the lining seems slightly bigger than the bag, but I think if I did this again, because I've got enough fabrics left to do the whole thing again, except for the wadding. I'm a little bit short on the wadding, so do you know what I might do is do the whole thing again, but instead of wadding I'll just use like a heavy kind of interlining, a fleecy kind of thing to give it a bit of body but not this much, and I think it might be easier then to get the measure of the put the zipper in and all of that, and the quilting, and yeah, overall very, very pleased. And if I'd have not been trying to get this done for a video, I'd have taken my time a bit more, I think. Perhaps taken the time to add some embroidery to some of these pieces before I put it together. There's a lot of scope here for doing a bit of hand embroidery into all these beautiful fabrics. Taking a leaf out of Snoppy's book again just to add in some little embroidered touches would be really lovely. And I'd probably also make a nice little something or other to dangle off of here. In fact, I've got these little scraps left as well, which I could use. I could do a little stuffed heart or something to dangle off the zipper. That'd be quite cute. Cover up my bad workmanship with some pretty details, and then maybe it'd be good enough to offer as a giveaway. All that remains to do now is to sit more a bit. Is to do a little summary of the box and give you some final thoughts. And as with all the other boxes, I've got some notes so that I don't forget anything. So, Stitch Kit is a monthly subscription. Well, the one that I've looked at is a monthly subscription box. The box that I had was £25, but you can save money by buying 3, 6 or 12 months ahead, and there are lots of different price points that you can choose from as well. It's all stitch related crafts, but you've got 6 different disciplines to choose from: knitting, crochet, amigurumi, which they do separately, sewing and patchwork, which is the one that I had, and I can't remember the other 2. But anyway, you'll see. I'm going to link to the website and you can have a good old look through it. There is a lot to look at. So looking at the same points as I have with all the other boxes, flexibility is the next one. The huge difference about Stitch Kit, I think, is that they custom make every single box for the customer, for the individual customer. When you subscribe, you then fill in a questionnaire where you choose which disciplines you want to go with, and say what colours you like. You tell them anything you don't want to do. It can't really be more flexible because they're basically making a bespoke kit just for you. You can, if you've signed up for a mixed subscription, in other words, a mixture of all the different disciplines, you can at any point change that. Obviously you need to give them a bit of notice, but you can change to a different discipline or try something different for a change, whatever. it couldn't really be more flexible. You can also get one-off boxes just to try out, or buy as a gift for someone. Yeah, it's as flexible as you want it to be, really. I would suggest going there and have a good old look at the web, and you'll see what I mean. Variety and range, again, huge range. If you look at some of the pictures of other past boxes, there's just massive range. I just think you're never going to get fed up, and if you decide you want to change to a different kind of discipline for change, you can do that, can't you? They'll choose the fabrics and things to suit you. So those fabrics that Rachel chose to go to send to me were just, considering I told her that I like bright colours and I like pinks, greens and teals. I mean, it's just, it couldn't have been better. The workmanship could have been better, but next point that I've been looking at every time is outside the box. In other words, any benefits that come with subscribing to these boxes that aren't actually physical things inside the box. There's a lot of I think the tab in the website is called Learn. If you go in there, you can find tutorials, blog posts and things. Actually, the first thing I saw in there was a video that I did last year for them, which was a surprise, and I didn't notice it at the time. So that was brilliant. Yeah, so there's always lots of inspiration there, and I'm sure from my experience of the communications I've had with them so far, if you need to ask any questions or whatever, they'll be really helpful. Presentation and packaging, really important to me that it's as eco-friendly as possible. And other than obviously some things, so this was the sleeve that the pattern came in. This was the sleeve that the clover clips came in. Well, that's how clovers apply them, so they can't really do anything about that. Sometimes things do come in plastic packaging, but they don't add any packing to it. There's nothing there that I can't reuse or recycle. In terms of, is it attractive and fun to open, like a little gift to yourself every month? Yes, it is. I mean, it's a huge box, it's bright and colourful, it's fun to open, and everything was beautifully presented, coordinating tissue and everything, and it's just a really fun digging through the box to see what's in there. And wow, was there a lot in there, wasn't there? Also, is it practical? That's the other thing about packaging, isn't it? Is it practical? Is everything in good nick when you receive it? Yes, absolutely, everything was really in good condition. There's nothing damaged or anything, so that's good. Completeness, in other words, is everything there that you need to complete the project. Yes, and more. I mean, I had the extra little things like stuck it onto the thing, like the little pin cushion and things. The stitch unpicker, actually I didn't think I'd use, but in fact I did. Actually, there was even the little mini sewing kit, which had the little glass-headed pins and a needle photo and some threads and stuff. I did use them for my tacking and things, so that was good. And it even had the chalk marker, which was handy for marking out those squares at the bottom. It was just, I mean, that isn't everything, well, is it? You saw what was in there earlier on. So yeah, more than enough. All I needed was my sewing machine and a pair of scissors. I didn't get anything else out, so that was good. And in terms of like the amount of stuff, well, I've got enough there to make. I just need to add some wadding. I've got enough there to make another bag, which is fantastic. Very generous amounts of things. This is that weird word, quality stroke ethics. That stroke ethics is the only way I can think to put it, to remind myself what I'm talking about here. So beautiful quality products, like, you know, the clover clips instead of just some sort of unknown cheapy brand, you know. The hemline little pin cushion. These aren't cheap bits, are they? That you could have got in the pound shop. They're nice quality things. The fabrics were Tilda fabrics. The thread was Gutermann. You know, they're all nice quality things, and I love that the pattern they work. This is kind of what I mean by ethics. They work with some other small businesses, and the pattern. I'm looking around for the here is. I really like that they work with other small companies and support each other. I think I love that kind of thing. Instructions stroke inspiration. Yep, the instructions were nice and clear. I did find I had to go and look up a couple of tutorials for how to put the zipper thing back on when I pulled it off, and how to actually put my zipper foot on. But I mean, that's basic stuff that, you know, that doesn't reflect on their instructions. And I did find that I went on the Living in Loveliness website as well, and they have lots of tutorials there too, so that was all really good. communication stroke engagement, communication community. They don't have like a Facebook page or anything like that, but there's all the blog posts and things that you can go to on the website, and there's a contact form thing there as well, and I'm sure if you contacted them and needed some help with something, they would help you out, point you in the right direction. And the service has been brilliant. The interaction with Rachel is the lady that I've been dealing with, has just been brilliant, and it probably would be her that would look at your questionnaire and put your kits together for you. So what have we got next? Value for money, big one. And well, I don't think there's any, I don't know how they do all that for a £25 box, and bearing in mind that if you sign up for so many months ahead, you get it cheaper still, so that's brilliant. Also bear in mind that Rachel has sorted out a discount code for us, so it's Annie20. You put that in at checkout. She did contact me actually just to say that some people have already used that discount, so she's really pleased about that, so please do use that. And I'm assuming that's giving you 20% off, so that's brilliant. That's really good, because I already think it's a good deal anyway. I've said all along, and I'll say it again, I don't believe in kind of adding it up item for item to see if I got value for money, because there's huge value in having the box put together for you, especially when it's done bespoke like that. It's incredible, really. And having the kind of the fabrics chosen for you, the pattern found for you, all the bits and pieces you need, plus all presented beautifully in that box and sent to you to open like a little gift every month. I just think, yeah, that's where the value lies for me. But having said that, I think if you did add up all these bits and pieces individually, I think it would be more than £25 worth. I haven't actually tried, but yeah, I know I was given this box to try out, but if I'd have actually bought that box, I would be very pleased with it. So the next thing is enjoyability. Did I enjoy it? Well, it was a challenge, but I did enjoy it, and I learnt a lot. So if I look at everything from the experience of opening the box through to carrying out the activity, opening the box was an absolute joy. Did I learn something? Yes, I learned a lot. So we looked at, that was the first time I've done quilting like that, really. And I was a bit afraid my machine wouldn't cope with it, but it did. So that's opened up a whole new load of possibilities. Boxing corners I'd tried before, but not like that, and not by machine and things. So that was good. The zipper thing, I faced my zipper demon. It definitely I need a rematch, but but I've confronted him, and that's half the battle. So yeah, I definitely learned new things, and I will definitely take it forward, and that's important to me as well. Did it give me an opportunity to relax and enjoy myself? Yes, it did. It's always nice to have a purpose to spend a bit of relaxing time crafting. And another part of the enjoyability thing for me was there scope to add my own creativity. Now, there was a lot more scope than I actually used, because I think, as I said earlier, if I hadn't have been wanting to get this video done, I'd have taken my time and embroidered some of those panels before I put them together. I think that would be lovely, and I might make a little zipper charm with some of the scraps as well. So yeah, there's plenty of scope. And just you patch. Yes, the fabrics have been chosen for me, but I chose how I was going to patch them together and arrange them. So yeah, definitely plenty of scope. And the final point is outcome. Do I like what I made? Well, I do. I love it. Like I said earlier, it couldn't help but be pretty, because the fabrics are just so beautiful. Definitely the workmanship leaves something to be desired. But having said that, if I was just buying this in a shop, would I look that closely at how well that zip's put in? As long as it works, it'd be all right. I have gone a bit too close to the teeth there. That's why that bit keeps wanting to stick, which is making me a little bit wary of giving it to someone else. Maybe I'll see if I can get the other one done instead. Get the second one done. Do a better job. So yes, I like what I made, and I will be having another go. So that is brilliant. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much to people who've been following along with this little series and giving me some lovely positive feedback about it. I did wonder if it might all be a bit too much, all of these all in one go, but Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing them, and I'm very glad that other people are finding it useful as well. Don't forget that if you do decide to go in one of these subscriptions, you've got that 20% discount, Annie 20. So don't forget to use that, because that'd be a shame. Thank you so much to Kirsty Broadbent. So she's the founder of Stitch Kit. And thank you to Rachel at Stitch Kit for putting together such a perfect box. I feel as if it was a gift from a friend who knows me very well. And I don't think I can give higher praise than that. Thank you very much again for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon.